Melody. Welcome to Myanmar Today Review, and this is where we visit the top stories for this week from Myanmar Today. Here are the reports from our reporters from this week. Pyithu Hluttaw hears proposal to terminate duty of Pyithu Hluttaw Speaker. Pyithu Hluttaw passes loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan. No local COVID-19 transmission in Myanmar for 10 consecutive days. National People's Congress talk on draft civil code, socio-economic growth. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the featured local news from this week. State Councillor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi held a video conference with first prize winners of her homemade cotton mask competition on Wednesday from the meeting room of the Presidential Palace in Naypyidaw. The state councillor said that most Myanmar people could not afford to use disposable face masks, and that was why people were encouraged to make their own mask, as it was not known how long the disease was going to last. As these masks could be reused, just by having 3 or 4 of these masks would serve the purpose. Masks should be worn systematically, patients should be given treatment with sympathy, and discipline should be maintained with metta. The Ministry of Social Welfare Relief and Resettlement is implementing action plans for the inclusiveness of people living with disabilities in awareness campaigns and support provided during the COVID-19 pandemic. In that regard, the ministry has been supplying 13 private schools for the blind with a total of 658 students at a rate of 30,000 jets per person, in addition to basic foodstuffs and hygiene products. The ministry provided 2,970,000 jets for 99 students from 3 schools from the blind in Yemen and Meitila Mandalay region on Thursday, and will continue donations for 2 schools in Zagai region, a school in Magway region, 4 schools in Mandalay region, and a school in Shan State South in the near future. And I believe it's time now for our first report. Pyithu Hluttaw heard the proposal to terminate the duty of Pyithu Hluttaw Speaker Uti Kunmiet, which was submitted on the 5th day of 2nd Pyithu Hluttaw 16th regular session. 110 Hluttaw representatives signed and submitted the proposal, and Hluttaw representatives were called to name to discuss the proposal.
On the 5th day of 2nd Pyithu Hluttaw 16th regular session, 110 Hluttaw representatives signed and submitted the proposal to terminate the duty of Pyithu Hluttaw Speaker Uti Kunmiet in accordance with the 2012 law relating to the Pyithu Hluttaw and 2013 Pyithu Hluttaw rules. Mentioning in the Section 21 of the law relating to the Pyithu Hluttaw, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, or both of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker may be recalled from the duty by the Hluttaw in accord with the prescribed manner for any of the following reasons: A. High treason, B. Violation of the provisions of the Constitution, C. Misconduct, and D. Being unable to fulfill the duties assigned by the law. According to the Pyithu Hluttaw Rules, Section 115, 1/4 of the Hluttaw representative can sign and submit the proposal to terminate the duty of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. Usai Tun Singh from Myanmar constituency, who is also a member of Union Solidarity and Development Party, explained about the reasons of submitting the proposal to recall the Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw from duty.
Pyithu Hluttaw ကိုယ်စားလှယ်130ဦးတို့ကPyithu Hluttaw ဥက္ကဋ္ဌဖြစ်ပြီးလက်ရှိပြည်ထောင်စုလွှတ်တော်နာယကတာဝန်ကိုပါထမ်းဆောင်လျက်ရှိတဲ့
110 Hluttaw representatives signed and submitted the proposal to terminate the Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw, Uti Kunmiet, who is currently serving as the Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw according to the following reasons. While serving the duty of the Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw, Uti Kunmiet approved to form the Joint Committee for 2008 constitutional amendment proposed by the Amyota Hluttaw representative U Aung Ji without in line with the provisions of Pyithu Hluttaw rules. The Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw failed to perform the bill for the Second Amendment of 2008 Constitution submitted by Hluttaw Representatives U Thein Thon, Dr. Maung Thin, Brigadier General Maung Maung, Brigadier General Aung San Chit, and U Sai Tan Nai.
He also mentioned that during the regular sessions of 2nd Pyithu Hluttaw, the Speaker U Thein did not approve to submit some proposals, and the highlighted ones are as follows. 1. The proposal to consider the bill's unconstitutional amendment submitted by 20% of Hluttaw representatives in accordance with the reviews of Constitutional Tribunal of Myanmar. Number 2, the proposal of welcoming the National Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19 and the Committee to Remedy the Social Impacts caused by the COVID-19 and urging the committees and responsible persons to form a strategic plan. And number 3, the proposal to discuss with National Defense and Security Council concerning the outbreak of COVID-19 in Myanmar.
ပြည်သူ့လွှတ်တော်ဥက္ကဋ္ဌဖြစ်သူဦးတီခွန်မြတ်ဒီပြည်သူ့လွှတ်တော်ဆိုင်ရာဥပဒေပုံမှန်21ပါ
According to the mentioned reasons, the Speaker, U Thein is suggested failing to follow the Section 21 of the law relating to the Pyithu Hluttaw in accord with the provisions of the Constitution and not performing the lawfully appointed duty. So, 110 Hluttaw representatives submit the proposal to terminate the Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw.
Then the Deputy Speaker of Pyithu Hluttaw called for the Hluttaw representatives who want to discuss the proposal to name not later than the 29th of May. This is Dora Susan from MI Radio.
That's the report on Pyithu Hluttaw here's proposal to terminate duty of Pyithu Hluttaw Speaker. After the Ministry of Health and Sports and the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry discussed and responded to the questions raised by the Hluttaw representatives, Pyithu Hluttaw approved to get $50 million loan from the International Development Association of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan for the COVID-19.
On the third day of 2nd Pyithu Hluttaw System regular session, which was held on Friday, the loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan was approved. Dr. Myen Twe, Union Minister for Health and Sports, and U Maung Maung, Deputy Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry, responded to the questions raised by the Hluttaw representatives and discussed about $50 million loan proposal from the International Development Association (IDA) of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan. The loan is to be spent in treatment session of the COVID-19 because a lot of financial support has been provided for containment session. The Hluttaw representative presented the suggestion of forming infectious disease hospitals in each state and region, and concerning that question, Union Minister Dr. Myen Twe replied that
if a hospital is established, human resources, budget, equipment, and infrastructure are essential to be enough. Especially, human resources are urgently needed. Even though we cannot have separated infectious disease hospitals in states and regions, we make isolation wards upgrade. We are also planning to form Infectious Disease Institute at Waibaki Specialist Hospital and Kandor Nadi Hospital.
Concerning the question of the Hluttaw representative about testing of the COVID-19, Union Minister Dr. Myen Twe also explained that
we have to consider using limited resources effectively. We have enough PCR machines for diagnosing, but the problem is that there is limited reagent, which is enormously demanded worldwide. So we have to give priority to test possible persons, including all primary contact persons, secondary contact persons, and patients under investigation. Starting from 17 May, all entries from air or land will be tested. Besides the National Health Laboratory and Department of Medical Research of Yangon, starting from June, we can run tests in Taungji, Mandalay, and Molamyai.
40% of COVID-19 patients show mild syndrome, 40% show moderate syndrome, 15% have severe syndrome, and 5% need to be treated in intensive care unit ICU. According to the contingency plan, 2.7% of total beds of the hospital are to be provided as ICU beds. The need of ventilator is not crucial right now, and there are only 5 patients in the whole country to be treated with ventilator. According to Union Minister Dr. Myen Twe, hospital assessments are carried out to fulfill the needs in upgrading hospitals, and training for health workers are provided as well.
COVID-19 Economic Relief Plan CERP ကို2020ပြည်နှစ်ဧပြီလ29ရက်နေ့မှာထုတ်ပြန်ခဲ့ပါတယ် CERP မှာ
To remedy the socio-economic impacts caused by the COVID-19, the government has already provided COVID-19 Economic Relief Plan (CERP), including 78 action plans in April. To implement action plans in CERP, Union Emergency Budget, COVID-19 Fund, and Transfer Budget from 2019 and 2020 fiscal years are to be used. Moreover, financial assistance is provided by international organizations. For this loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan, the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry is responsible to supervise the contract signing, contract implementation, and cash out procedures in collaboration with the World Bank. The Ministry of Health and Sports is to report on the improving performances of the plan.
And Pyithu Hluttaw approved to get $50 million loan from the International Development Association (IDA) of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan for the COVID-19. That's all for now. This is Thora Swisen from MI Radio.
That's the report on Pyithu Hluttaw passes loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan. Myanmar reported no new local COVID-19 transmissions within the country for 10 consecutive days since the 18th of May, despite 22 cases are imported from the other countries by the returnees. Currently, Myanmar had 206 COVID-19 cases, of which 48 cases were imported from the other countries, according to the Ministry of Health and Sports. Let's take a look at the report.
Myanmar reported no new local COVID-19 transmissions within the country for 10 consecutive days since 18 May, despite 22 cases are imported from the other countries by the returnees. Currently, Myanmar had 206 COVID-19 cases, of which 48 cases were reported from the other countries, according to the Ministry of Health and Sports. Since 11 May, the authorities conducted COVID-19 tests on all nationals returning with relief flights. Dr. Tan Aizo, Director of Health Knowledge Promotion Division from the Ministry of Health and Sports, spoke to MI Radio about the imported cases. He said,
Local transmission was
There have been no local COVID-19 transmission in the country, but there is still some cases imported from the other countries from the returnees. They have been put into quarantine center for 21 days, and if they have no symptoms, they can go back home. If they do not follow the instructions of 21-day quarantine, it can have effect on lots of people, like the very first case. Now, there have been a lot of returnees who are especially carrying out anti-COVID-19 measures since their arrival.
Since the first confirmed cases in late March, the government has used aggressive quarantining, imposed a strict stay-at-home order, promoted social distancing, and enforced legal actions against those who break laws related to containment and prevention measures. Speaking to MI Radio about their current actions for COVID-19 through the phone interview, Pyithu Hluttaw, Region Hluttaw representative from Insane Township, said,
There is COVID-19 Prevention Committee and COVID Emergency Response for Committee. Along the process, the participation of people, especially volunteers, are important. With these volunteers and other community organizations, we gave the information about COVID-19 and sprayed the pesticides at the beginning. Then we had delivered 35,000 masks for the third time. When we carried out the anti-COVID-19 measures through the township, people had become more aware of the disease. They started wearing masks. For the people who had recovered from the disease, we let them stay at home for a week. according to the procedures of Ministry of Health and Sports. As for the Insane Township, it had the most cases in Yangon region, but now there are no new cases from the local transmission for 10 consecutive days. We still have to do what we need for our people's health and their living.
As parts of Yangon reopen to business under a new normal, some city dwellers rarely observe sanitary and health guidelines like wearing of face masks and maintaining social distancing to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Although there is no local transmission in the country for 10 consecutive days, local people still worry about the upcoming new cases and their living. Matandae, who is the shop owner from the Shuipida Township, spoke to my radio about the masks she is wearing whenever she is out. She said,
To prevent the COVID-19 infections, I wear a mask when I go out to the market or to somewhere. When I get back home, I put all the clothes and masks and accessories into the bucket to wash immediately with a strong detergent. Even though there's still a few cases, we have to worry about it. On the other hand, we have to work for our living. All we have to do is to protect ourselves as much as we can by wearing masks and washing hands to combat this coronavirus.
According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, more than 2,200 nationals from the countries, including Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and the UAE, arrived in Myanmar on 22 May. The Ministry of Health and Sports announced that it had conducted 21,593 COVID tests on Wednesday and 124 recoveries. It also said 55,616 people had been in quarantine centers across the country. The global pandemic has spread to 188 countries, killing over 357,896 people and recovering 2,515,460 people, according to Worldometer Coronavirus Resource Center.
That's the report on no local COVID transmission in Myanmar for 10 consecutive days. Let's move on to the last report for the day. Chinese political advisors speak to the public and take questions from the media at the second members' corridor as they are participating in the third annual session of the 13th National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. MI Radio reached out to Masu Temu from China Media Group to understand better about the two topics discussed at the conference: draft civil code and the socio-economic growth. Agajo has more.
Chinese political advisors speak to the public and take questions from media at the second members' corridor as they are participating in the third annual session of the 13th National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. The conference was inaugurated on May 21st and 22nd after it had been postponed due to the pandemic outbreak. This move shows that China has returned to normality after overcoming the impacts of the COVID-19. MI Radio reached out to Masu Temu from China Media Group to understand better about the two topics discussed at the conference. They are draft civil code and socio-economic growth. First, Masu Temu explained the relevance of the human rights and the draft civil code.
တရုတ်ပြည်လုံးဆိုင်ရာပြည်သူ့ကွန်ဂရက်အစည်းအဝေးမှာတရားမကိုရာဥပဒေမူကြမ်းကိုစီစဉ်နေတာကျမတို့တွေ့ရတဲ့ရှင့်ဒီဥပဒေမူကြမ်းကြီးကတရုတ်ပြည်သူသမ္မတနိုင်ငံတည်ထောင်ခဲ့တဲ့နောက်ပိုင်းမှာပေါ့နော်ပထမဦးဆုံးသောပုံမှန်1000ကျော်တောင်ပါရှိတဲ့ဒီဥပဒေဖြစ်တဲ့ပထမဦးဆုံးသောဒီစလုံး300,000ကျော်ပါရှိတဲ့ဥပဒေလို့လေဒါပြောလို့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒီတရားမဥပဒေကြမ်းနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ဆွေးနွေးမှုတွေကအဓိကသုံးသက်ချက်ကိုပြောရမယ်ဆိုရင်ဒါဟာတရားမဥပဒေတွေကိုစနစ်တကျဖြစ်အောင်ပေါင်းချုပ်ပြထန်အတည်ပြုမှာမို့တရုတ်ပြည်ရဲ့ဥပဒေတွေစနစ်တကျဖြစ်ဖို့အတွက်ဒါဟာအရေးကြီးခြေလှမ်းတစ်လှမ်းကိုစတင်လိုက်တယ်လို့ဆိုရမယ်ရှင်ပြီးတော့နိုင်ငံတော်စီမံအုပ်ချုပ်ရေးစီးစနစ်နဲ့စီမံအုပ်ချုပ်စွမ်းအားပေါ့နော်ခင်မီဖို့အတွက်အရေးကြီးစနစ်ဆိုင်ရာအခြေခံအုတ်မြစ်ကိုချပေးလိုက်တာလို့ကျွန်တော်ယူဆမိတယ်
One highlight of this draft civil code is its emphasis on the protection of people's rights. Moreover, the conference also discussed the strategy to enhance the socio-economic development of the citizens.
အစည်းအဝေးကြီးမကျင်းပခင်ကတော့ဒီနိုင်ငံရေးအကြံပေးတွေကဒီအစည်းအဝေးမှာဆိုရင်ဒီ COVID-19 ကူးစက်ရောဂါထိန်းချုပ်ကာကွယ်ရေးလုပ်ငန်းရေးပေါ့နော်လိုအပ်ချက်အတိုင်းဒီတိတ်ပံနေကြစွာဘယ်လိုစီစဉ်တွေလုပ်ရင်ကောင်းမလဲဆိုတာတွေနောက်2020ပြည့်နှစ်မှာတရုတ်နိုင်ငံကပေါ့နော်နှစ်102ခုကြိုးပမ်းဆောင်ရွက်ရေးရည်မှန်းချက်ဖော်ဆောင်ရမှာတရုတ်နိုင်ငံဟာအသင့်ချမ်းသာတဲ့လူပေါင်းအဖွဲ့အစည်းနေထိုင်မှုဘဝကိုပေါ့နော်ဗတ်စုံတိဆောက်ပြီးတော့ပထမနှစ်100ကြိုးပမ်းဆောင်ရွက်ရေးရည်မှန်းချက်တွေကိုဖော်ဆောင်ဖို့အပြင်ဒုတိယနှစ်100ကြိုးပမ်းဆောင်ရွက်ရေးရည်မှန်းချက်ခီးစဉ်တစ်ကိုဖွင့်လှစ်ဖို့ဆိုတာတွေနောက်အခုနှစ်အတွင်းမှာပေါ့နော်စီးပွားရေးနဲ့လူမှုရေးဖွံ့ဖြိုးတိုးတက်မှုရည်မှန်းချက်တွေကိုလည်းဒီလက်တွေ့အခြေအနေအရာပေါ့နော်မူဝါဒတွေချမှတ်ပြီးတော့ဖွံ့ဖြိုးရေးရဲ့ဒီတိုးတက်မှုနဲ့အရေးအသွေးကိုတပြိုင်နက်တည်းထည့်သွင်းစဉ်းစားစီမံခန့်ခွဲဖို့ဆိုတာတွေနောက်အဓိကအရေးကြီးတာတော့ဒီကူးစက်ရောဂါတိုက်ဖျက်ရေးဆိုင်ရာအကြောင်းအရာတွေကိုသုံးသပ်ပြီးတော့ပေါ့နော်နိုင်ငံတော်စီမံခန့်ခွဲရေးစနစ်နဲ့ဒီစီမံခန့်ခွဲမှုစွမ်းအားကိုတဆင့်တူတွန်းအားပေးဖော်ဆောင်မှုတွေလုပ်ဖို့ဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေကိုရည်မှန်းချက်ထားပြီးတော့ဖော်ဆောင်ပေးဖို့ဒီနိုင်ငံရေးအကြံပေးတွေကပေါ့နော်သုံးသပ်ပြောကြားလာတာကိုတော့တွေ့ရတယ်ရှင်ဒီဒါအပြင်ပေါ့နော်ဒီအစည်းအဝေးကြီးကျင်းပတော့လေနိုင်ငံရေးအကြံပေးတွေသုံးသပ်ထားတဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတော်တော်များများထည့်သွင်းဆွေးနွေးခဲ့တာကိုလေကျမတို့တွေ့ရပါတယ်
China has set 2 centenary goals. The first is to build a moderately prosperous society in all aspects to celebrate the CPC centenary in 2021. The second, to build a modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, and harmonious by the middle of the century to celebrate the PRC centenary. The National People's Congress of the People's Republic of China, normally referred to as the National People's Congress, is the highest organ of the state power and the national legislature of the People's Republic of China. With 2,980 members in 2018, it is the largest parliamentary body in the world. The National People's Congress meets in full session for roughly 2 weeks each year and votes on important pieces of the legislation. This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's the report on National People's Congress Talk on Draft Civil Code, Socio-economic Growth. Now to international news. The 2 sessions have just wrapped up and Chinese lawmakers have voted to adopt the country's first civil code to take effect on the January 1st of next year. President Xi Jinping emphasized in a meeting on Friday that Chinese officials should understand the great significance of the civil code, which will better protect people's rights in accordance with the law. The Civil Code comprises 1,200 clauses and law sections such as property, tort liability, contracts, inheritance, marriage, family, and personality rights. Most of them were previously covered by separate civil laws, which served as a groundwork for civil code and will be replaced by the code after it comes into effect. The code contains individual sections that are called personality rights. Unlike most of the other parts, this was not carried over from the existing civil laws, and it protects individuals' rights including name, portrait, reputation, and privacy. When 400,000 people submitted over 1 million of advices during the civil code drafting process, so it contains detailed protection on many social hot issues, such as sexual harassment, the protection of minors, and human rights. Derek Chauvin, the fired white Minneapolis police officer who was seen on video kneeling on the neck of George Floyd, an armed black man, has been arrested and charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter, according to the Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman. In a now viral video recorded by a bystander, Chauvin is seen kneeling on Floyd's neck as Floyd is handcuffed behind his back. A newly surfaced video of the arrest shows that at one point, Floyd appeared to be pinned down by 3 officers, not just 1. In the original video, 3 other officers ignored pleas from other bystanders to get off Floyd. According to Freeman, an ongoing investigation into other officers is underway, and he anticipated charges against 3 officers involved in the incident. If convicted, Derek Chauvin could face up to 25 years in prison for the first charge and up to 10 years on the second charge.
My face is gone. I can't breathe, man. Please let me stand. Please, man, I can't breathe.
Chief Executive of China's Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, Carrie Lam, on Friday called on residents to firmly support the national legislator in adopting the decision to make national security laws for Hong Kong. Lam added that Hong Kong had witnessed rampant activities of Hong Kong independents, organizations, and violent radicals, as well as blatant interference by external forces. The decision aims to prevent, stop, and punish acts and activities endangering national security, and to help the city to restore peace and safety. The European Union voiced grave concern about China's imposition of a security law on Hong Kong, but advised against putting sanctions on Beijing, saying it will do little to solve the crisis. After having held talks with foreign ministers, Joseph Borrell, the top envoy of the 27-nation member bloc, said on Friday, quote, EU relations with China are based on mutual respect and trust. This decision further calls into question China's will uphold to its international commitments, end quote. On being asked whether Brussels was considering sanctions after the Chinese parliament passed a new law, Borrell said that, quote, I don't think that the sanctions are the way to solve problems in China, end quote. He said that plans to hold an EU-China summit in Germany in September were unaffected. Chinese President Xi Jinping is due to meet EU leaders in Beijing. That's all with the news and reports on Myanmar Today Review. Tune in every Saturday on MITV at 8:30 p.m. for Myanmar Today Review. Until next time.